I'm Gabe Henderson. Again, like always, joined by Patrick Strawn. And Pat, today's a special day.
Yeah, it is.
It was just announced by the MCLA that the Flames will head to nationals for the first time in school history. How big of an accomplishment is that for the Flames?
That's a huge accomplishment for the Flames, and a couple reasons. Obviously, one, like you just touched on, it's the first time ever in program history, so that's something they can definitely hang their hat on for making that accomplishment. I mean, they had a couple of firsts this year as well. So winning against their highest-ranked opponent in Michigan State at the time, who were number 4, climbing as high as number 9 in the MCLA as far as Division I rankings, and that's a huge accomplishment. And then, as you just said they got their first national bid, so that's just huge. I think for just getting a plethora of program accolades this season, so that's just good for them, and it's also good for the future when it comes to building the program because they're still a young team, only one senior graduating this coming year.
And to get to that point, they had to beat Georgia Tech, which was another accomplishment. They beat Georgia Tech in the first round, which propelled them to get this nationals bid.
Yeah, it was actually. I mean, they had to beat Georgia Tech in the quarterfinals of the SCLC's, 2 ranked opponents going at it. And I think that's a huge win for them, more so because that's a good little bit of getting that monkey off of your back because they haven't really been able to defeat Georgia Tech the last few times they played them, whether it's in Atlanta, at the SCLCs, or wherever it is, or even a couple neutral site games. Georgia Tech has always had the Flames number, and finally being able to beat them, and not even beat them, you have to come back to beat them off of the hands of Carter Elliott, who scored 6 goals and earned his way to all-tournament team that in the SCLCs. I mean, that was just huge for them as a whole, as a good, solid team effort all around.
And we talk about SCLCs, and of course Sam Gregory, he's another guy. He made first team all-conference this year. We caught up with Sam Gregory to get his thoughts on this year's national tournament.
It's definitely very exciting to go out west to a place that I'm pretty sure none of us have ever been. So first and foremost, we're there to take care of business, but it's also going to be cool to look back in a few years and visit some beautiful landmarks, some mountains. And practice in the weight room is definitely going to be huge. The tone we set is oftentimes how we come out and play. We've seen ourselves come out and play really good against top-level opponents, take Arizona State, Michigan State, but we've also seen ourselves not play as well as we'd like to against lower-level opponents. So it's definitely huge to set the tone, go out there and practice as hard as we can, do as good as we can to really get prepared for some top-level competition in the MCLA this week.
Pat, no one knows what to expect from the Flames this year. Sam Gregory, you can tell just based off of his comments, the team has a lot of confidence going forward this week.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think they should. I mean, obviously, we just touched on it. You're going to your first national tournament. Honestly, you really have nothing to lose here because you're going against a good team in Concordia, another ranked opponent that you're going to face, and another top 10 opponent, too. They've only lost 2 games all season, and both of them have been to undefeated Chapman, who's looking like they're going to be the front runner to win the national tournament this year, sitting at number 1. But, I mean, really, you're going into a contest where you could easily come out as a victor in that. You've played in big games before and played in them all season long if you've gone against ranked opponent after ranked opponent all year, and you've come out with some key wins. And as Gregory was saying, there are some games they did show up for, and those are the ones that either they were in or they really were able to take the victor, and then there were games that they played down to, which they unfortunately got the losing end of that one. But if they're able to play their game and obviously play consistently, well-balanced, not only on the attack, in the face-off circle, in net, and defensively, and just play the best lacrosse, as he said, they need to play all season long, there's a good chance that the Flames could come away with a victory on this one.
Like we said, it's the first time the Flames have been in the national tournament. So is this year already a success, or they still got to keep the rules rolling for it to be the year that they want it to be?
Yes and yes, because yes, this has been a successful year. I feel like we've talked about it all season long as the Flames have just done so many great things and really a bit of a benchmark year. And it's kind of funny to think that this is a benchmark year considering it's not the most wins they've had in program history, or even the highest ranking they've had, but it is the highest ranking they've had at D1. They've beaten the most ranked opponents this year. They've beaten the highest ranked opponent this year, making their first national tournament. Having said that, though, they still need to keep the wheels rolling because what you've done so far, in my mind, and even for a lot of guys on that team, has got to be that this isn't enough. We want to keep pushing the envelope. We want to keep pushing the pace and the tempo of this and try to continue to improve and also set dividends and set momentum going into next season because, as we just touched on it, there's only one senior leaving on this Flames group. And if you're able to bring back a very well-experienced team that not only has conference playoff experience but now will have national-level experience. That's going to be huge for you in the long run for not only next season, but even the years to come.
Pat, the Flames look to continue to build on this historic season. Game time will be 7:15 Mountain Time in Salt Lake City for this year's MCLA tournament. Be sure to follow Liberty Lax for all Liberty Lacrosse updates. And for Patrick Strawn, I'm Gabe Henderson for LFSN, signing off.